The Taipei operation, July 10th, 2016. Two men stride through the entrance of a bank in Taipei, their faces concealed behind medical masks and fisher hats. One positions himself as a sentinel at the entrance, while the other approaches an ATM. He performs no conventional banking transaction, no card insertion, no withdrawal attempt, no explosive device. He simply waits. Then something extraordinary occurs. The ATM begins dispensing banknotes in rapid succession. The man merely collects the cascade of currency. When a stranger approaches, they immediately abort their mission and vanish, leaving the bewildered passerby to discover cash scattered on the ground. Though it appears to be a simple opportunistic theft, this individual has unknowingly witnessed a sophisticated heist. While these two operatives collected their share, 20 others executed identical operations at different branches throughout the city. This synchronized effort represents merely one component of a vast criminal enterprise, a 2-year campaign that would devastate the global financial infrastructure. The scope of devastation. The statistics are staggering. Over 100 banks across more than 30 countries compromised, with stolen funds totaling approximately $1 billion. This represents one of history's most audacious bank heists, orchestrated not by traditional criminals, but by the notorious Carbanak hacking collective. Led by an enigmatic mastermind, this cybercriminal organization would fundamentally transform financial crime. However, on that fateful night in Taipei, they committed a critical error, one that would ultimately lead to their downfall. Patient Zero. The initial breach. April 8th, 2014. Meet Maxim, a respected employee at a Ukrainian bank with one dangerous habit: neglecting Windows security updates. As he contemplates his romantic interest in the office receptionist over his morning coffee, an email from his colleague Sergei arrives. The message contains a Word document titled Compliance with Federal Law 115 dated 2 March 17, 2014. Official sounding enough to warrant attention. Maxim opens the document, reads it briefly, closes it, and continues his routine workday. He remains oblivious that he has just triggered one of the most sophisticated cyber attacks in banking history. The discovery months later, Maxim finds himself in an emergency meeting. His supervisor appears distressed. The bank's ATMs have begun spontaneously dispensing cash at random intervals. Anyone fortunate enough to be present during these incidents can simply collect the money. The bank suspects a cyber attack and warns all employees to exercise extreme caution with suspicious emails. The bank engages Kaspersky, a leading cybersecurity firm, to investigate the breach. Yuri Namestnikov, part of the investigative team, examines the compromised ATM's hard drives for malware, but discovers nothing, no suspicious activity, no digital breadcrumbs to follow. The midnight revelation. Months later, Namestnikov receives an urgent 3 a.m. call from an account manager at a major Russian bank. Someone has seized control of their domain controller, the central nervous system of their server network. In a Windows environment, controlling the domain controller grants virtually unlimited access to the entire system. A Kaspersky specialist rushes to the Russian bank, where the panicked IT administrator explains that their compromised system is transmitting data to China. While searching for malware, the specialist discovers remote access software that allows real-time observation and control of computers. Suspecting active surveillance, the specialist opens a Word document and types "Privet," hello in Russian. After a few tense minutes, the cursor moves independently and a response appears: "Вы нас не поймаете," you will not catch us. The specialist responds: "Мы вас поймаем," we will catch you. The hacker retorts: "Нет, вы нас не поймаете," no, you will not catch us. This chilling exchange confirms their worst fears. The attackers are monitoring their investigation in real time, uncovering the operation. The Kaspersky team eventually identifies the malware, which bears similarities to the Garber Trojan. One configuration file is labeled Anunak, leading the team to designate the threat as Carbanak. This Russian bank incident provides crucial insights that connect back to the Ukrainian ATM breaches. The team reconstructs the hackers' methodology. Phase 1: Initial infiltration. The attack begins with Maxim's email. The Word document exploits Microsoft vulnerabilities to install malware containing a backdoor, granting the hackers remote access to his computer. Phase 2. Network penetration. To access the broader network, the hackers install software that deliberately degrades Maxim's computer performance, frustrating him enough to request IT support. When the IT administrator arrives to investigate, the hackers have already installed a keylogger, capturing every keystroke, including the administrator's password. Phase 3. Reconnaissance. Rather than immediately attacking, the hackers conduct months of silent observation, studying employee behavior and understanding transaction processes before proceeding. 3 methods of theft. The Carbanak group developed 3 sophisticated theft mechanisms. Method 1. Account manipulation. Hackers transfer funds from transaction management accounts to their own accounts. To avoid detection, they artificially inflate account balances by the stolen amount beforehand, maintaining unchanged totals. Since banks audit accounts only every 10 hours, these transfers remain undetected. Method 2. ATM control. The group seizes control of specific ATMs, programming them to dispense cash directly to money mules. Operatives hired through the Russian mafia who collect the money and remit it to their handlers, retaining a small percentage. Method 3. Database manipulation. The most sophisticated approach involves establishing bank accounts for money mules with identical small balances. For example, 333. The hackers then manipulate the bank's database, replacing that 333 with $1 million across all accounts simultaneously. The mules then use debit cards to withdraw the cash. As an unintended consequence, some legitimate customers briefly become millionaires due to the database modifications. The global response. As Kaspersky's understanding of Carbanak's methods deepened, the scope of the operation became apparent. The security firm collaborated with Europol, major European banks, and various national law enforcement agencies to pursue the criminals. Investigators successfully disabled some Carbanak servers, but the hackers adapted, employing different tools and continuing operations covertly. By early 2015, Carbanak had compromised at least 100 financial institutions across nearly 30 countries, with victims primarily in Russia, but also in the United States, China, and Europe. Within 2 years, they had stolen approximately $1 billion, seemingly unstoppable, until someone made a fatal error. The Taipei mistake. July 2016. Carbanak targets Taiwan's first bank, but Taiwanese law enforcement responds with unprecedented speed and efficiency. Over 500 police officers analyze CCTV footage, tracking suspects from ATMs back to their hotels. 22 money mules, predominantly Russian with some from Eastern European countries, participated in the operation. 19 successfully fled Taiwan, but 3 remained with the stolen cash. Their faces broadcast across media outlets, the trapped operatives desperately attempted to dispose of the money. One operative concealed 2 sports bags containing cash at Dong Park before fleeing to Yong County, where authorities apprehended him. He led police back to the park, but only 1 bag remained. An elderly man had discovered and taken the other, believing it was fortune from God. Another operative, known as Bobby, stored the remaining money in 2 suitcases, placing them in lockers at Taipei Central Station. 2 Eastern European associates arrived to collect the suitcases and proceeded to a hotel for brunch. Police interrupted their meal, discovering banknotes worth approximately $1.5 million in their hotel room. Taiwanese authorities recovered 90% of the stolen funds and sentenced the 3 captured operatives to slightly over 4 years in prison. The mastermind revealed. Though these operatives were low-level participants, one suspect's phone contained photographs of money stacks in various currencies and emails from the suspected Carbanak leader. This evidence proved crucial in the broader investigation. March 6, 2018, Alicante, Spain. Denis, a Ukrainian cybercriminal, lives in luxury with his wife and son. An intensely private individual who rarely leaves home, he spends his time developing sophisticated malware. To maintain anonymity, He conducts most transactions in Bitcoin, possessing 15,000 Bitcoins worth approximately $162 million in 2018, over $1 billion today. However, certain purchases, luxury cars, real estate, require traditional currency, creating financial trails that ultimately expose him. When authorities arrest Dennis, his laptop remains unlocked, providing investigators immediate access to crucial evidence. Law enforcement seizes 2 BMWs, jewelry valued at $500,000, and his Bitcoin holdings. However, the vast majority of the stolen $1 billion remains missing. The broader network. Dennis may have been Carbanak's mastermind, but he didn't operate alone. Experts estimate the group comprised 10 to 30 individuals working in coordination. The challenge for security researchers lies in distinguishing between different criminal groups, as they often share identical code. It's extremely difficult to arrest code itself, explains one investigator, highlighting the persistent challenge of cybercrime prosecution. In late 2018, authorities arrested 3 additional Ukrainians allegedly connected to the operation. The Carbanak collective, along with associated groups like Joker Stash and Cobalt Spider, represents a new generation of cybercriminals. The geopolitical dimension security experts suspect these Russian cybercriminals operate with tacit government approval, serving to destabilize Western financial systems while maintaining plausible deniability for official Russian involvement. The prevention lesson. The entire catastrophic breach could have been prevented through basic cybersecurity hygiene. The Carbanak group exploited a Microsoft Word vulnerability that had been patched 3 years prior to the attack. Maxim's negligence regarding Windows updates cost his employer millions of dollars. This serves as a crucial reminder. Maintaining updated systems represents the first line of defense against sophisticated cyber threats. In an era where cybercriminals grow increasingly sophisticated, basic security practices become more critical than ever. The Carbanak case demonstrates that in cybersecurity, the weakest link often determines the entire system's vulnerability. And sometimes that weakest link is simply procrastination on routine updates.